Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, Global Populations Officer here. Right, some of you are probably wondering where I've been, or why me Epics videos not been uploaded yet, when it was supposed to be up on Sunday, right, last Sunday. Well, it would appear that my phone decided it had enough of living and threw itself out of my pocket and down a couple of flights of stairs. And seeing as my phone's my camera, my film studio, basically my office, I was left without a means of actually making any content, so I had to wait until I got it fixed. I finally got it back Tuesday. But it's 2 weeks that I've had without it. I've been enlightening, to say the least. I'll tell you why.
Then one guy sitting in prison. Okay. Then one guy sitting in prison. Okay.
Right. What do you mean enlightening? Well, first of all, I had no idea how much I needed my phone to access most of the social media apps that I use, such as Twitter and Telegram and many others. I was basically relegated to Substack and YouTube. Well, I say relegated. It's kind of sort of freeing in a way. It was a nice break. But as I'm sat there watching YouTube, and there's all this stuff going on. Take the Pentagon leaks, document leak, as an example. Oh God, you would not believe how much I wanted to just get a video out there just saying, no, don't trust them. I mean, wait, shift, stupid cat, come on, out of the way. Come on, shift out of the way. Yeah, so, everything. Sorry, I have a very annoying cat. Not me, yeah, stay out there. Everything to do with these that Pentagon leak just smelt fishy from the start. I mean, as I explained in my Substack, if it comes from the government, my default is basically just suspicion, skepticism and sort of cynicism. I just don't trust it, especially when it comes to leaks. Sorry about that. Interrupted by my annoyingly overly affectionate muggy. So yeah, normally my default, as I said in my Substack, is suspicion and skepticism and cynicism. I just don't trust them, especially when it comes to government leaks. There's always an agenda. And that agenda becomes pretty apparent quite quickly usually, especially these days. As I'm watching all this unfold, unable to really sort of voice my concern as I would like, which is normally in a video like I normally would, I was forced to just sit back and watch. And to my utter surprise, not only when I was take Jimmy Dore as a prime example. I was watching this sort of coverage of it, his analysis of it, and immediately it was picking up on the same points. The length of time it was up online, where it was posted online, the fact that the Pentagon were expecting more leaks, even though later on the guy got arrested. You know what I mean? The guy himself, a 21-year-old, National Guardsman, yeah, National Guard soldier. It's like our territorial army in the UK. They're part-time in a way. So how's he been able to get these from the Pentagon? You know what I mean? It was sort of information of such that was so sensitive. You know what I mean? That they posed a huge threat to America's national security. Yeah, information that was in large part 2 years old, quite a lot of it, or already pretty much proven and well known, or already proven and well known, and already divulged by the Pentagon themselves. There was nothing in there that was a bombshell. None of it was especially enlightening, really, for anyone that was paying attention. And it was a prime example of my usual mantra that I normally say whenever anything is to do with the system in general, and it's all based around 95% truth, 10% lies. Think about it before you turn around and say, that's bad maths. No, it's not. All right? Think about it. There's a whole concept behind it. All right? It's intentional. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, read my bloody Substack. I'll leave a link in the description below. But anyway, so yeah, to my surprise, Jimmy Doe was laying all this out, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's not just me that's seen this then. I started reading through the comments, and there were loads of them, thousands of them, and all of them, I'd say all, roughly about 85-90% of them were all discussing why these leaks weren't on the level, what would be going on around in the background, why they were released in the first place. And it really did lift my spirits. It really did. I have to say, I've become very cynical and very pragmatic about the way that people are waking up, or rather, I assume that they weren't, and they weren't able to be able to spot these sort of things on their own. And I think it's something that those of us who've been doing this a long time, right, that have been in this game a long time and been watching these jokers a long time, and we start making YouTube content as well. I think we let the YouTube content creator side of ourselves overrule that of our researcher side of ourselves. What do I mean by that? Well, this is another thing that you learn when you've been doing this a long time. Let people discover things at their own pace. Our entire purpose, right, in the information that we provide, is to just lift the blinkers off. Yeah? Lift the blinkers off people. Let the light hit their eyes a bit, and they'll do the rest. They'll do the rest. They'll learn a lot quicker and retain a lot more if they're able to do it themselves. Yeah? If they're able to look for these things themselves. Because once those blinkers are off, they'll never go back on again. Never. And that's our main purpose. Nothing more. So seeing this were amazing to me. And then I watched, is it Redacted? Clayton and Natalie Morris now. Yes, they're ex-Fox, ex-MSM, yeah? And some would say they're questionable. Yeah, fair enough. But even they were turning around and saying, "No, these look a bit iffy." And again, in the comments, the same thing. The same thing. Richard Vobes is another one, with slightly different reasons. His awakening has been remarkable to watch, you know. And I think I really do think he's very likely genuine. A lot of people, a lot of the cynics out there probably sat there thinking, well, why? If you watch his very first video, when he began this learning process, talking to, I've forgotten his bloody name, Scottish guy on GB News, you know what I mean? He was trying to figure out whether he was right or not in what he was saying. And from there, things just started to snowball as he started to learn more and more and more. And you can see him coming across concepts that are still quite alien to a lot of people out there. The whole idea around money is something we don't need. We never have. Money is a tool of control. Always has been, always will be. Out of everything on this planet, right, that we're given, it's all natural, it all fills a need, yeah? So there's stuff around to make a shelter, yeah? There's food all around that we can either grow or pick, you know, or hunt. There's love and companionship that we have from other people, yeah? There's water freely available, yeah? The only thing that isn't natural is money, and that's because of this concept. And like I said, it's a tool of control. Now, at one time it was backed by actual value, now it isn't. So it's becoming even more sort of blatant tool of control by the fact that it's not tied to anything, it's valueless completely. And it's something we don't need, we never have. There were times when we did great things without the need for money. All the cathedrals, churches you see all around the place, right? They were built during the 1300s, which was a time called the medieval warming period, yeah? Now, all the artisans and all the masons and all the stained glass people have all had skills that are completely lost to us nowadays, right? They travelled all the way around Europe and Britain, yeah? Just walking around, and all they asked for was just food, and because it was so plentiful, we just gave it away for free. So you just got free meals and got to sit around and have beers and whatnot. None of them were paid. None of them were paid by the Vatican to build these churches. It was just a community project, something that we wanted to do, and it was also a way for them to learn new skills and pass their skills on to someone else. Yeah, and they were in proper high demand, right? And this is what we need to move back into, right? This is a kind of sort of social structure that we need to get back in, yeah? That we need to realign ourselves with and forget the whole concept of money altogether. Each of us has some sort of skill that we can pass on and be utilised by someone else, yeah? All of us. If we all band together in a community and all do a couple of hours work here and there, and, you know, in the field and that, help grow food for a community, yeah? Just pulling together. We don't need money to do this. We don't need money to make technology, yeah? Money really is the root of all evil. An unnecessary and outdated concept that we don't really need anymore. Never have. Anyway, I'm going off topic. So yeah, all of that was lifting my spirits and really made me realise that there's far more people out there that are capable and more awake and asking questions than many of us actually think, especially me. I admit wholeheartedly, I didn't expect there to be that many people that were doing that. Yeah? And then there was other things. I was coming across videos and written pieces of work on Substack by people all over the place that I've had no contact with whatsoever, that were talking about the same sort of concepts that I've been talking about for a very long time. And these are people that have also been doing this for a very long time, but I've lost sort of sight of, in a way. Joseph Farrell was one example. I was watching a Dark Journalist interview with him, and when he started going on about harmonics and the Great Pyramid and plasma, if you haven't seen it, I'll not spoil it, but this is fundamental to something I've been looking at for a very, very, very long time, especially the harmonic side of things. We are, in and of itself, we're not solid objects, we're a finely tuned harmony of frequencies, sound frequencies. We actually, in some respects, play a song as we live, yeah? And our interactions with the environment that's around us adds to that harmony and adds to that song, yeah? The universe is literally frequency, nothing more. It's born from frequency, born from sound. If you've been watching my Hatman videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Sound is a fundamental aspect of all religions. And it's always at the beginning how the universe began. It's always with a word, a song, a chant. Always. And to hear Joseph Farrell talk about this was amazing to me. It really was. Because the reason why I say that is because he never struck me as the kind of mind that would actually think in that way. He's a scientist at the end of the day. I think he's a physicist. Something like that, I can't remember. But he's a PhD. He's just stumbled into this sort of side of research. And this was something else that was mind-blowing to me. And then I saw a David Whitehead video. It was only a clip though, and it was an interview between him and another guy and Michael Sarian. Now Michael Sarian is another one who I used to watch a heck of a lot a long time ago, and now don't really admittedly watch as much as I should, really, because he was pulling out the same sort of concepts I have. There's a reason why things are so insane and topsy-turvy these days and not quite gelling together, and that's because the old guard are dead at the top. Most of them are dead. Yeah? David Rockefeller, George Bush Senior, Soros is basically retired. He's just the front man. As Alexander, his son, does all the actual stuff in the background. Rupert Murdoch, his sons. The Rockefellers, Nicholas Rockefeller is now in charge rather than David. All of those old guard knew how to do things covertly, yeah? In a lot of ways, it was very hard to tell if they were meddling or not, yeah? You really had to dig deep. And just like Michael Sarian said in this clip,
is in inept hands right now. Whereas prior to the first half of the 20th century, it was in very expert hands. The old guard died off. You don't have your Cecil Rhodes anymore, and you don't have your Lord Kitcheners anymore, you know. So the new brats that came in to rule the system in the place of their fathers are cuckoo, and they're inept at running the machine. But the one thing that they still maintain is fear, right? So our modern age is an age of anxiety and also fear, because fear is the mind killer. And so they manufacture all sorts of Dr. Strangelove Frankensteinian stories about the world to come. And you just go, well, we'll be immobilized. I'll have a band or my cell phone, and they'll know where I am, and I won't be able to move, and I won't be able to do it. And all of this is potentially true. But there's an equal case for the possibility of bringing those things to bear, as much as there is the theory that they can be put in place. Anyone who studied the Brotherhood for 5 minutes properly and sincerely knows that it is through the fear that they generate within me that they not only feed off, but control us all.
See, they're inept. They are completely and utterly inept. They have no idea what they're doing. And you can see this when you get someone like Henry Kissinger, right, turning around and saying, what the hell are you playing at, yeah? Driving this war in Ukraine, you're going to destroy everything that they've built. That's what he was saying to them, basically. Yeah? And no one would listen. None of the Biden administration would listen. Now, if Biden was still cognitively available, so to speak, I don't think he'd play along with this. He'd have reservations. But it's not him in charge. It's the younger ones in the background. The Obamas. The Clintons, who were never very stable in the first place. And you can see, I mean, you have essentially spoiled brats at their home. They aren't the brightest sparks either. They're just slightly more ruthless than their siblings. But they've never really been left responsible for anything in their lives. Come on, makes you shift. In some ways, they're not really. They're not really the imitation of the parents in a way. Now, though on the surface this looks bad, it sounds bad, it's actually a plus side, a plus point. It's something that, each way get out of the way. Come on, shift, missus. It's actually something that works very much in our favour. Because they're so inept and because everything is so out in the open and overt rather than covert. We can see the original plan crumbling and the careful steps that were laid out by the previous, their forebears, shall we say, are crumbling around their ears because they don't know what they're doing. Essentially, it wasn't their plan. So then, as I've said before, with the death spiral idea, when one aspect of the plan doesn't work, they have to skip ahead to compensate for what's going on, for it failing. And when you do this, you inadvertently awaken more people. And because these steps in the plan were so regimented and so meticulous in the design, flipping one makes all the rest not make sense to us. And the less we fall for it. And the more we become wise. Become able to see what they're doing. And the next step fails. Further along the line, it may not be the next one, but the next one after that. And again, you have to skip. And again, you have to skip. You have to skip. And all the while, more and more of us are waking up and seeing them. And this is because they have no idea what they're doing. They've been told to right the ship, and in their mind, they're playing with a monkey. That's essentially what it is. We're winning. Big time. But many of us aren't able to see that at the moment. Sorry about that, interruption with my son. So yeah. Anyway, now I've got my phone back. Well, something happened yesterday. And honest to God, if it didn't happen so often already, and already become a joke, then I'd probably be pissed off. But as it is, I'm sort of past caring these days. But YouTube have taken another one of my old videos down, like a 3-year-old one, again, from the beginning of all this pandemic. So what does that tell you? But it's the... I really couldn't believe this. It's the actual... the subject matter and the content of the video which just had me in fits of laughter. It really did. The video that they took down, right, was my video on YouTube censoring videos. I mean, you can't get more ironically hilarious if you try. It's taken them 3 years. Yeah? 3 years to notice this video where I'm slating them and berating them for censoring YouTube videos, and they're going to take it down. Oh no. It's it's just amazing, man. These people are just they're just morons. They're just morons. So yeah, in fairness, I think we're going to be fine. This war in Ukraine's not going to go anywhere. Putin's going to get what he wants. They're already protesting in Ukraine anyway at the moment, and all over the place. Everyone's pissed off with the Biden administration. Everyone's pissed off with every administration in the West. The whole system is collapsing. And they facilitated this themselves. Don't get me wrong, this was the whole plan to start with. Yeah? They were going to collapse the economy and everything else anyway, and collapse the system. They wanted us to bring it down and then they'll show us the solution. But at this rate, they're going to end up doing it themselves without us needing to do anything, and no one will accept their terms, no one will accept their solution because of what they've done. So yeah, the future's fucking bright, it really is. I'm getting brighter every day. No one's believing the bullshit. And I've seen evidence of that all this past 2 weeks. Which makes me think that this with my phone happened for a reason. I was meant to say that. I was meant to notice that. It really opened my eyes. It was a powerful learning experience, yeah? And like I've always said, we're always learning. And we're always learning. There's always a lesson to learn somewhere. And this was one of those I had to learn myself. I'm not the only one out there that's thinking the way I do. There are others, plenty of others. We're all coming to the same conclusions, which is good. Which brings me to my Epics video. That'll be out this weekend, yeah, this Sunday, which is the 30th of April. So it'll be late. It's late, but it's still coming. I just need to actually make it, which I'll be doing after this video. But I thought I'd best give you an update, let you know what's going on and what's happened. Like I said, I'll leave you a link down below in the description to my Substack. Come and join it, come and have a look. I've got loads of stuff on there. There'll be articles on there, basically accompanying all my series I've got in some way, shape or form on my YouTube channel. There's particular Substacks that actually go into more detail or give additional information that you might not have in those articles. I'll also be doing a standalone article series on there as well. There's not just research articles or anything like that. There's fiction on there as well. I've started a series on I'll let you see. But it's funny. I'd also like to thank Bob and Kate from Telegram as well for helping me with the FISA documents. Yeah, that last batch of FISA documents, you're an absolute godsend. So that'll be coming after Epics. And my next episode of Resonance, CRISPR and Dreads, will be after that. So there's a lot going on, a lot coming. So, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, you know the drill. I'll see you later.
They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment to keep the human mind entertained, so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it. And all American citizens, I think, have suspected something like this is going on. But we're all too busy trying to stay alive and live our lives. And after all, what can one person do about it?
Then one guy sitting in prison. If they are holding all of the keys, if they are in on something that is a conspiracy theory, they say these people committed a conspiracy.